What is up, everyone? Team Dose Alliance 671 coming at you with the latest deck profile that I'll be giving you guys. Something brand new. I present to you guys a secret project I've been working on for years, actually, and I finally finished it. Not only that, I took it to a local tournament, a championship, if you will. I'm not sure if I could share that. Please correct me. Guam Yu-Gi-Oh community, Team Duelist Alliance. But anyways, this is my Noble Knight deck profile. Mainboarding Mystic Minds. So as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and become a part of the notification squad. And without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So let's go and begin. Happy holidays, guys. So I think this is a great way to start off the holidays by somewhat of a holy deck, if you will. Okay, let's do this. First off, we ran 3 copies of Noble Knight Madrat. This is undoubtedly the main starter of the deck. He counts as a normal monster while on the field, so that's important for certain effects to activate or certain summoning conditions. So, while this card is equipped to a Noble Knight equip spell, he becomes a dark monster, and he gains this effect. Also, he becomes level 1. Once per turn, while you control no monsters, basically, you can special summon a Noble Knight monster from your deck in defense mode. And if you do, destroy one equipped spell you control. So this one's very important and crucial for the deck. It sets up so many plays like your Isolde and your rank 4s if you know how to utilize the equipped spells and move them. There's another Noble Knight you go into that could switch equipped spells around, so I'll show you that combo in a little bit. Later on, I might show you guys like a deck tutorial for this deck, and I think you'll like it a lot. So 3 copies of Madrat. 2 copies of Noble Knight Brothers. This is somewhat of the marauding captain of the deck. When this is normal summon, you special summon not 1 but 2 Noble Knights from your hand. However, you'll be locked into Noble Knights for the rest of the turn. And this card can only attack if you control exactly 3 Noble Knight monsters, which is hardly going to happen because you usually link or exceed some of this guy away. His third effect, you could target 3 Noble Knight or Noble Arms cards in your graveyard, shuffle all 3 to the deck, draw 1 card. However, with the Shizu tier limits, they do have that quick effect where it targets 3 cards in your graveyard and shuffles it back to the deck. So this could make cards like that can make this card miss. But as long as you time it right, you should be fine. Especially that we're mainboarding Mystic Mind in this deck. Mystic Knights, if you will, for all my 90s friends out there. Yeah, I absolutely adore Mystic Knights. I'm not sure if I could talk about it here. Pretty much medieval Power Rangers. They have like the most wicked action figures ever. So anyways, I'm drifting off. 2 copies of Noble Knight Brothers. 3 copies of Noble Knight Kustonin. So this is undoubtedly the Kizan of the deck, if you will, from the 6th Samurai. If you control both Noble Arms and Noble Knight card from that is on your field, basically, if you control a Noble Knight and Noble Arms card, I'm being repetitive, my apologies. I did just get home, guys. So if you control both of those, you can special summon this card. Simple as that. You can only summon him like this once per turn, basically. It's a hard once per turn as well. If he's used as a link, exceed, or synchro summon material, he lets that monster gain this effect. If this card is special summon, you additionally normal summon a Noble Knight during your main phase this turn, which is really good. However, this effect applies as well. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for Noble Knights for the rest of the turn. So you could just do whatever you want in terms of special summoning, but once you use this effect to additionally normal summon, then you're cut down into just Noble Knights. So you only have 3 cards in here that log into you into Noble Knights, but other than that, you're pretty much running like a generic rank 4 deck, which this deck is designed to do. You'll notice I'm not running certain cards like Phoenix Gearfried as I go through the deck profile, or the Infernable Knight, the level 1. I don't have those in possession, and I think for this version I think we'll be fine because we managed to defeat tier limits after a big battle in one of my duels in the tournament today, and I think this deck is pretty formidable, but I'll improve upon this deck later. So to continue, 1 copy of Noble Knight Gawain. This one, you special summon while you control a light normal monster, and you summon him in defense mode, which will be your Madrot or your Boris, also 1 copy. Boris, he counts as a normal monster while face up on the field, just like Madrot. While this card is equipped with a Noble Arms card, you activate this effect. It becomes dark, it becomes a effect monster, and he increases by 1 level, so he becomes level 5. During the main phase, you can reveal 3 Noble Arms cards from your deck, have your opponent randomly add 1 of them to your hand, and the rest go to your graveyard. So I mainly use this to reveal until Noble Arms are needed once again. Grab 1 of them so I could activate it while I control Noble Arms cards. And then the other 2 that I sent to the graveyard, you can either shuffle it back with Brothers, or you just activate it on your next turn. Set up on crazy rank 4 plays, and you'll see what kind of rank 4 plays I go into later. So let me go and speed this up for you guys, because I'm kind of rambling. So Noble Knight Ivan, my favorite one, because the lion. This is the 3rd one that locks you into Noble Knights, because if this card is equipped with a Noble Arms card, you can special summon 1 Noble Knight token. This one's a level 4 warrior light monster with 1,000 attack and defense. But you're locked into Noble Knights this turn, meaning you can only special summon them for the rest of the turn, which is fine. And while he's equipped with an equipped spell, all other Noble Knights except him gain 500 attack, so that's also important. So let's go ahead and continue. For the 1-0s, Noble Knight, I am afraid to mispronounce his name, so we'll just say Noble Knight, Noble Knight B. That's the best way I can say it for now. When this card is no more special summon, you can send 1 Noble Arms equipped spell card from your deck to the graveyard, which is pretty cool because you can send your Excalibur or your Caliburn to the graveyard. And also, during either player's turn, I just realized that, you could target 1 Noble Arms card, equipped spell card, and re-equip it to an appropriate target on the field. So it's switcheroos, basically. So I'll show you a combo video on this later, but basically you use Madrot's effect to special summon him, and then you send the Bewilder to the graveyard. Madrot just destroyed the equip card, so you could equip him to I just tried to pronounce his name, so Noble Knight B, and you could just use this effect to switch it to another Noble Knight that needs his effect to activate. So Noble Knight B. Let me try again. Noble Knight Bilwer. That's, if you guys know the correct pronunciation for his name, please let me know. I really don't want to ruin their names. They're so cool, and they have like amazing names. And yes, I'm aware they're based on the Knights of the Round Table. I really need to study their lore. So anyways, to continue, 1 copy of Noble Knight Pelennor. Not too many people like this one, but I like him because he's pretty much a shooter. Target 1 Noble Arms equipped spell, equipped to this card, and 1 face of monster opponent controls, destroy them both. So he kind of has that TPE effect. Then you could draw 1 card, unlike TPE, but he cannot attack for the rest of the turn, which is fine because you're gonna link or exceed summon him into him, link summon with him anyways, so that's perfectly fine. 1 Noble Knight of 1 copy of Noble Knight Dristan. Excuse me. While you control another Noble Knight monster, your opponent cannot target your monsters with less than 800 attack, with attacks except this one. With attacks or card effects, which is cool. But the most important fact, if a Noble Arms equip spell is equipped to this card, you could target one face-up card on the field, destroy that target. So if you want to destroy like their field spell or their face-up continuous spell or trap, or even just a plain monster, then this is good. If Mystic Mine is used against you, which doesn't matter because you're main boarding Mystic Mine anyways, you could use this to destroy Mystic Mine if you get the chance. Very good card. That'll be it for the Warriors. For the Spellcasters, 2 copies of Morgan. Undoubtedly the main boarded hand trap of the deck. You pay the cost of sending this from your hand to the graveyard like a hand trap. Then you target 1 Noble Arms card you control, and if you do destroy it, then you negate the activation of a monster's effect. So pretty much when your opponent activates a card or effect while you control a Noble Arms card. I just realized that. Silly me. It's any card effect, not just monster effect. But I've been mainly needing to only negate monster effects with this, so that's fine. So this is a generic negate. It can not only negate Nibiru, it can negate so many stuff that could hinder your Noble Knight's what is it called? Strategy, if you will. And yes, so negating Lightning Storm and all that stuff. So that's a very good card to use. Gwynethar, Queen of the Noble Arms, if I could pronounce that correctly. Sounds very similar to Gwynethar, or yeah, it sounds very similar to Yennefer from Witcher. But anyways, this is pretty much a monster version of an equipped spell card. Target 1 Noble Knight monster you control, equip this monster from your hand or graveyard, and then that monster gains 300 attack. Then gains these additional effects. If it was a light monster equipped to, it gains this effect. Cannot, if it's to be destroyed, you could destroy this instead. And if it was a dark monster at the start damage step, you could destroy a monster that it battles basically. This came in handy a lot. I was able to destroy a few boss monsters that my opponent brought out on me. So Gwynethar, very good card. That'll be it for the monsters, guys. Let's move on to the spells. For the spells, I'll go and cut to the chase. I think I already did already, but 2 copies of Mystic Mine. Undoubtedly the center of the deck, and well, not really the center, but the trump card of the deck. It got me out of a lot of situations. If you're going first, you just sit on a Megatron of a Noble Knight, if you will, that is equipped to so many equipped cards that protect him, and then you just bust out Mystic Mine on the opponent. And if they try to do something, you have Morgan in your hand, and Mystic Mine is just very hard to get over. And if you're going second, that's even perfect because you bait out their generic negate and you bring out Mystic Mine, and then you just have your shenanigans of your knights. This was a very good card and very unpredictable in this build in particular. So if you will, Mystic Knights. I absolutely adore that show. It only lasted 1 season. I think I said that already, but yeah, one of the most pristine shows I remembered as a kid. So anyways, I'm gonna copy a Terraforming to go with the Mystic Mine. Very simple effect, add 1 field spell from your deck to your hand. Can't get any simpler than that nowadays. Now for the rest of the spells, the one that really saved me a lot of games, Noble Arms Caliburn. I like playing this at 2 because it's a soft once per turn where it could gain 500 life points. Then you basically, for all of the Noble Arms cards, you can control 1 on the field at a time, so you just gotta be careful which ones you activate. This one I like running at 2 because it's a soft once per turn. If you manage to re-equip it, like with its effect when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you could re-equip to a warrior type Noble Knight monster. So basically, if the knight drops the sword, they throw it in the air and the other knight picks it up basically, or catches it, which is cool. So if you're running low in time in the tournament, you could just gain 500 life points right away. and then you could win that game, or you could just draw. It's very useful in the tournament, which is exactly why I decided to bring this to the tournament today, which is cool. So 2 copies of Noble Arms Caliburn. Noble Arms of Destiny is the one that makes one of them where they can't be destroyed by battle or card effect once. Only happens once per turn, which is perfectly fine. And let's see. You can only control one of them. So just one of them on the field. And that's pretty much it. Also, this also has the effect to re-equip to another Noble Knight monster in the field if it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard. So another knight picks up the sword, which is really cool. Noble Arms of Destiny. Now people are going to scratch their heads about this. Ready? Only 1 copy of Noble Knights Excalibur. Noble Arms Excalibur. Only 1 because there's a lot of effects that don't target anymore anyways. And I feel that 1 is all you need, seeing that it's searchable. I don't really see using 2 of this because targeting protection is cool, but like I said, there's a lot of non-targeting effects, and I'd rather have like effects that either boost my life points or increase my monster's attack points, which is pretty cool. I forgot to mention that Caliburn increases the monster's attack points by 500 if equipped to a warrior monster. So most of the Noble Arms cards you could equip to any warrior monster when you first activate it, but for Excalibur it is only for Noble Knights in particular, because you know it's Excalibur. Only like Noble Knights could wield it, specifically Atorgus, aka King Arthur. But that's just the lore, and in the Yu-Gi-Oh game you can equip it to any Noble Knight monster. So second effect, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you could target 1 Noble Knight Exceed monster you control, special summon from your extra deck 1 Noble Knight Exceed monster with a different name, but you use that target as materials as well as his own materials. Like, let's say for example you have Noble Knight Custonin, Sacred Noble Knight Custonin, which is gonna come up soon. You could use him and his overlay materials to go into Atorgus, King of the Noble Knights, or Sacred Noble Knight of Atorgus, which is really cool. So 1 copy of Excalibur. I feel you just need 1. I doubled the Caliburn because, you know, tournament, and sometimes you just gotta win by game or life points. 1 copy of Gallatin. This one is plain and simple. You have your warrior monster that is equipped to this game 1000 attack. But during each of your standby phases, your monster loses 200 attack, which is fine. And it has that other effect to re-equip if it's destroyed from the field to the graveyard, which is cool. The Noble Arms Lancelot sword, as Dark Arndillis put it. That looks very hard to pronounce, so I will not butcher that name. So this one pretty much does the same as the other Noble Arms cards. It's standard. And then it's an inherited effect. You could target 1 set card the opponent controls and destroy it, and then the equipped monster loses 500 attack, or it loses 500 attack first, then you destroy the target, which comes up a lot, especially if you're dealing against like tier limits. You get to destroy their negator, or if you're just dealing with some back row like Sullen Judgment or like with Runics, this is actually very good with them. 1 copy of Noble Arms Clarence. This one actually saved me a lot of games as well. This one says you can only equip to warrior like everything else. Every other Noble Arms except Excalibur. But the inherited effect is that you can pay 500 life points once per turn. The equipped monster can attack directly this turn. So you can make a Noble Knight Custonin attack directly, which is an Exceed monster. Then main phase 2, you could overlay into Zeus, which is amazingly strong. So 1 copy of Clarence. And then for the rest of the spells, we run Heritage of the Chalice. Pretty much reinforcement of the army for Noble Knights. Or you could add 1 Noble Knights monster or Noble Arms card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So if you want to bypass Ash, you could just retrieve from your graveyard. But other than that, this is good Ash bait. And the second effect comes up every now and then, but hardly. If a monster you control, if your Noble Knight monster you control is destroyed by battle while it's equipped to equip spell card and sent to the graveyard, you can return this card to your hand, which is cool. They're hardly going to be destroyed by battle, honestly, while they control equip spell card. My opponents are usually smart, they try to bounce them. They read them carefully now. I am very impressed by my duels today. They had to work very hard to beat this. Even they'll tell you that. Thank you guys. So, Glory of the Noble Knights. This one's their quick play. Target one Noble Knight monster you control, and then equip one spell card from the deck to that target. So there are some instances where they try to shoot my Noble Knight, but then I bust out Glory of the Noble Knights, and then I equip them with Noble Arms of Destiny, and it fizzles, because like Noble Arms of Destiny protects it from destruction once, whether it's by battle or card effect. Really awesome. One copy of Reinforcement of the Army, Standard Searcher for level 4 lower warriors. One copy of Monster Reborn, because it's Monster Reborn and it's a combo deck, so it's highly welcomed in here. And then last for the spell is Double or Nothing. I think you guys aren't going with this for that. Utopia Double TK Magic. For the traps, very little. Until Noble Arms are needed once again, 3 copies. So this one's pretty much your power duality, if you will, during the opponent's turn, really. Activate the top card of your deck equal to the number of Noble Arms equipped spells you control. And if you do, add one of them to your hand. Place the remaining on top of your deck in any order, which is really cool. So you could have like 4 Noble Arms cards on the field, activate this, activate 4, and then grab your Morgan or any of your hand traps like Impermanence or Ash, which we do side. I choose to side because we're main boarding Mystic Mine. So yeah, and that's the second effect. Except the turn was sent to the graveyard, so you could just do it next turn after you activate it during the opponent's turn. Activate it during your turn. Excuse me. You can banish this from your graveyard. Special summon a Noble Knight with a different name from your hand or graveyard. So it pretty much special summons any different names. That's why we played the Dristan and Pelamir. So it could have a target. So 3 copies of it until Noble Arms are needed once again. I just call it until for short. 2 copies of Impermanence, the True Trap hand trap. You could activate this while you have no cards in your hand. Target one face a monster the opponent controls, negates its effect until the end of the turn. If you activate this card while it was set, you can negate all spells and traps effects in the column in the same column, which is insanely good. 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Undoubtedly a main board that in almost every deck I play. Then, without further ado, the extra deck, Atorgus, King of the Noble Knights, aka King Arthur. If you succeed summon, you could target up to 3 Noble Arms equipped spell cards with different names in your graveyard. Equip those targets to this card. So you can equip your Excalibur and your Destiny and your Caliburn. You could gain 500 and use like 2,500. Can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. Really good card effect. And then his second effect, he's pretty much Mystical Space Typhoon. By detaching one Exceed material from this card, destroy any number of spells and traps on the field up to the number of Noble Arms equipped spell cards you control. I will compare it to Harpy's Feather Duster, but the fact that it targets is more like Mystical Space Typhoon on steroids. So 1 copy of Noble Atorgus, King of the Noble Knights, and then 1 copy of Sacred Noble Knight, King of Kustanin. Sacred Noble Knight of King Kustanin. So the way it was he was named, he's still King Kustanin, guys. It's just like the Egyptian god cards. People are thinking, oh, they're just the Sky Dragon of, or this soldier, the Winged Dragon of, but no, they are still Ra. They're still Slifer. It's just they're taking a Winged Dragon form or a Sky Dragon form. So it's Winged Dragon of Ra. So I believe that's how they're actually named. They're just taking a form of. So if anything, this explains it. Sacred Noble Knight, King of Kustonin. He is King Kustonin, but upgraded, basically. Okay, so here's the effect. Anyways, attach any number of Exceed material cards from this monster, then target any number of cards your opponent controls, return them to your hand. Note that it says 2+ level 4 Noble Knight monsters. So you can equip any number of level 4s to him. You can bounce some stuff on the field, attack directly if he's equipped to Clarent, and then you main phase 2, overlay into Zeus and blow up their board. That really helped a lot today. So Sacred Noble Knight, King Kustonin, if he's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon one Noble Knight Exceed monster from your extra deck except Kustonin, and attach him in his Exceed material. So you could bust out King Torghast, King of the Noble Knights, or Sacred Noble Knight, King of Torghast. I only running one of each because I want a little bit more rank 4 options or link options. So, and I think it's working out pretty well. Sacred Noble Knight, King of Torghast. He's rank 5, so you normally use Excalibur to bring him out, or if you want to bring him out the hard way with Boros and Midrot. But anyways, if he's Exceed summon, you target up to 3 Noble Arms, equip spell cards with different names, and equip it to him. So he's the same as King of the Noble Knights, but he has an upgraded effect slightly. You can detach one Exceed material from this card, then target one other monster in the field, destroy that target. But if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard at all, you could target one level 4 or higher Noble Knight monster from your graveyard, special summon that target. So he's a floater, so he's a monster shooter and a floater. So you have your monster shooter, your spawn trap shooter, and your anything bouncer, which is really cool. So that'll be it for the Noble Knight Exceeds. Let's go into the generics. Let's go and save you guys some times because we're close to 30 minutes. Number 31, Bagooska. Just to defend your field, like if you have Mystic Mine, you could bust out this and the Mystic Mine, so you lock what they have on the field and you lock what they might have in the graveyard, so it's double negate, or double floodgate if you will. So one copy of Bagooska for that rank 4 options. Abyss Dweller as well really helps a lot. Obviously any deck that has access to rank 4s is a threat to Tearlaments or any other deck like that involves the graveyard. So Abyss Dweller really helps for that generic floodgate effect. And then we also run, surprisingly, Heroic Challenger Excalibur. I tried running Access Code Talker. I hardly needed to use it today, if not at all. I tried even running Midnight Avermax, but I feel the correct trump card to go for OTK is Excalibur, because one, he's a level 4 or a rank 4 warrior. I can use the equip cards to pump him up even more, especially if I use Clarent, where I can make him attack directly. So also it's knights. Why not have Excalibur by your side? So one copy of Excalibur. Then for the Utopia package, number 31 Utopia. You guys know where I'm going with this. Number 39 Utopia. For that Kaioken action, so you can swing for 10,000. You just gotta watch out when you do this against Tearlaments, because you still have that field spell to make their Tearlaments and fusions gain 500 attack, and that continuous spell to make the opponent's monsters lose 500 attack if they send 3, basically. And then if they so happens to negate my Utopia double, that's fine. It's either I do it, I activate the effect again on their turn because it's a quick fit, or I just go into Utopia the Lightning. This one's a Super Saiyan 3, basically. Nothing could activate when it battles, and then he could detach 2 to have his attack be doubled until the end of the damage step, if I'm not mistaken. And you cannot attack directly if you use this effect. So you just have to attack a monster. Its attack becomes 5,000 during damage calculation only. So it doesn't double it, my apologies, it just makes it 5,000. So this guy could be at 0 and he'll still pump up to 5,000, which is awesome. So Lightning, just for that extra play. And then the big guy, double Zeus Sky Thunder Divine Arsenal. This combos really well with Kustonin because you bounce, you make him attack directly with Clarent, Then you may phase 2 overlay into Zeus and then blow everything up, especially in combination of Mystic Mine. It is wicked awesome. So Sky Thunder. And then generic Link 4s, we run 1 copy of Apollousa, Bow of the Goddess. She's just really helpful. She's the best Link 4 you can use right now, and she stops so many decks if you just time it correctly. Nightmare Unicorn for spinning, and with this we also run IP Masquerena because of the fact that you could go into generic Link monsters, and then you could go into Masquerena, and then during the opponent's turn you could Link summon into Unicorn, which is cool, or just Goddess, so they don't expect it. And she's just overall a cool card. Very little Link monsters, only because I'm focusing more on rank 4s, and so far it's been working out just fine. And then finally, 2 copies of Isol, Two Tails, and the Noble Knights. I think we all know what these 2 ladies do by now, and especially Noble Knights, they are at their most powerful. So that'll be it for the extra deck, guys. I'll go and show you the side deck really quick, the secrets that I have. I'll go and show you. 1 copy of Dino Wrestler Pankratops. This one combos so well with Evenly Match because you actually go into your battle phase, swing of him, and then at the end of the battle phase you could tribute him as cost, destroy 1 card in the field, and then you drop your Evenly Match, and then you banish even more cards on the field. So he baits on negates, and then you drop your Evenly Match, and then you're good to go from there. So Dino Wrestler Pankratops. Then also we run 2 copies of Ash Blossom for that Search Negate or Milling Negate. Especially good against Branded, good against Tearlaments, you name it. Then 1 copy of Called by the Grave, because sometimes we just don't like hand traps stopping us, so we play 1 Called by the Grave. Only side because Ruinix doesn't, with Ruinix it doesn't do much. So 1 copy of Called by the Grave, Harpy's Feather Duster, because sometimes back row does get in the way of us, and we do have an OTK in here, so Harpy's Feather Duster. Then Lightning Storm, because Darth Sidious, why not? Sorry, whole joke. Darth Revan will have to do. So yeah, you destroy all their attack position monsters or all the spells and traps they control. Very good card. And then Evenly Matched. This helped me a lot as well today. You all know this does by now, is that free banishing face down so it doesn't trigger any effects. 3 copies of Dimensional Barrier for Tearlaments. This almost slowed them down. I just had to do a follow-up afterwards. It almost did, but the Baguska was a big problem. But it's okay. At least I know this does do something. It's just you just gotta know that we gotta try to finish the game as much as possible by the time they're done at their turns. So Dimensional Barrier. And then last but not least, 3 copies of Rivalry of the Warlords. Pretty much good against everything. Tearlaments, Sprites, that Branded variant that I saw with the Bestials, you name it. Rivalry of the Warlords just says no. And you can even mainboard if you will, if you don't want to mainboard the Mystic Mine, because it also helps as a board sweep. So that'll be it for the side deck, and thank you guys for watching. This will conclude our deck profile for the Noble Knights, and honestly, I'm glad I managed to take this to the tournament. My brother and I have been working on this deck for a long time, and I'm finally glad that we not only finished it, but we got to take this to the tournament as we were planning a long time ago. And yep, I'm glad that I was able to demonstrate their powers and abilities to my opponents. And this is just the beginning. I might work on this deck a little bit more before I give you guys a tutorial video. So that'll be it for the Noble Knight deck profile, guys. I hope you enjoy. I will be updating the channel and be offering guys a deck list, and I'm gonna figure out how to do that time thing where you skip to the monster spells, traps, extra deck, or side if you guys don't want to hear me rambling. So yep, that'll be it, guys. Happy holidays, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for all your support, guys. I'll see you in the next video. See you around, guys.